Good evening. Normally at this time we would start our regularly scheduled board meeting, but in this case, this month, we have two public hearings. One in regards to the rezoning of 1107 Hedgemont from residential 2 to commercial 3. And then we have a public hearing for FY 2022 Budget Ordinance 2021-06. We will start with the public hearing on rezoning 1107 Hedgemont R2 to C3. People that are here are welcome to come up and speak whether they're for this or against this. This public hearing is as the board. We're here to hear your comments or concerns. This is not a back and forth. We won't be answering questions. But you have a right to state your time. We ask you to limit your comments 3 to 5 minutes. So I'd like to ask the first person who may like to speak to come forward. Go ahead, sir. Come on forward, please. Please say your name.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Ray Rozier. I reside at 107 Curtis Haskins Boulevard here in Fayetteville. I've lived there close to 40 years. I appreciate you and the board allowing me to speak on this matter. I wish to enter into the minutes of this meeting a petition which we have got signed by several residents of Fayetteville opposing the rezoning of this particular parcel. And then I would like to voice a few of my personal concerns over the manner in which this matter has been advertised to the general public. Petition reads as follows. We, the undersigned citizens of the city of Fayetteville, Tennessee, voice our concerns with the rezoning of the former Stonebridge Academy, formerly 8th District Elementary School, from R2 to C3 for the purpose of allowing a supportive recovery housing facility for substance abuse treatment. That would be the Resurgence Behavioral Health Tennessee. The physical address of the above-mentioned property is 1107 Hedgemont Avenue in Fayetteville. Our concerns are as follows. This is a residential neighborhood consisting of single-family dwellings occupied by long-time retirees as well as families with children. The two subdivisions, South Trail Subdivision and Stonebridge Drive, were constructed in the 1950s and 60s when the property located on this Hedgemont Avenue was the former 8th District School. Property adjacent to a public school is generally viewed as safe and very desirable property. The location of a drug and alcohol rehab facility at this location will significantly injure the value of the residential properties in these neighborhoods. We express our concerns over the security of the proposed drug and rehab facility. The rehab facility currently located at 201 William D. Jones Boulevard here in Fayetteville has had numerous police and 911 calls. The Resurgent facility would effectively double the number of rehab facilities in the city of Fayetteville and would make for a total of 3 facilities in Lincoln County. With the large number of occupants proposed for the Resurgence facility to number 108, this will certainly increase the workload for our local police agencies. This will adversely affect not only the 2 adjacent neighborhoods, but the entire city and the county as well. The individuals housed at the Resurgent facility will be housed there voluntarily. They are not compelled by court order, therefore they will be free to exit this rehab treatment program at the time of their own choosing. Should they not have the monies for transportation from our city, they will add to our current homeless problem. These are the situations we need to correct in our city, not increase. We do not need to add additional costs of crime and homelessness to our local governments. With regards to the handling of the matter and the way it was advertised, in the front page of the June 2nd Elk Valley Times newspaper, it was revealed to the general public for the first time that the rezoning was to locate a drug and alcohol treatment facility. Prior to that, it just said it was going to be rezoned to C3. The information apparently was supplied to the Elk Valley Times by the Fayetteville Planning and Codes Department and was taken verbatim from an undated and unsigned letter from the Resurgence Behavioral Health Tennessee Company, a copy of which was sent out with a letter informing local residents and business owners of this June 8th public hearing. Fayetteville has a population of slightly over 7,000 residents. Only 68 letters were mailed to local residents and business owners. That equates to 0.009% of the city population. The article goes on to state that the use will not significantly injure the value of adjacent property. I've spoken personally to local real estate agents regarding this and have been told by them of course it will affect the home and property values. I believe our local agents probably know more about Fayetteville real estate than a California corporation. The article states many of the adjacent parcels are currently zoned C3. Depending on the definition of adjacent, South Trail Subdivision and Stonebridge Drive are directly across from this property, separated only by Hedgemont Avenue. There are several other streets that are adjacent to this as well. DeSoto Street, Union Street, Hedgemont Avenue, and several smaller streets, totaling roughly 125 homes in this area. The property to be rezoned is directly across from Lincoln Central Academy property, the old Central High School, which currently houses a technical school, some pre-K classes, virtual school, the alternative school, along with all the Lincoln County School administrative offices. All these properties are within easy walking distance of the Stonebridge Academy property. I have yet to see any mention made of security to be at the Resurgence facility. During the time frame of January 1, 2020 through May 26, 2021, 9 records of various illegal activities at the William Jones Rehab Facility were provided to me as a matter of public records. They detail 65 police contacts and police actions. This facility houses only 20 patients, a fraction of what Resurgence plans to house at 108. So you can see that would extrapolate to quite a few more calls perhaps. We also have a facility down in Taft, Tennessee. It's been resulted in having at least 7 visits from the Sheriff's Department there too. Court-ordered drug rehab requires security at their properties. This is a voluntary treatment center, therefore no security will be required. This is also going to be an unaccredited facility. No one on probation will be allowed to be housed at that. So if we have a local drug offender who's sentenced to probation by the judge, they can't go to this facility here in our own city. These are our main concerns, not only for the people in the neighborhood, but also for the general population of Lincoln County, Fayetteville, Tennessee, and Lincoln County. We sincerely urge the Board of Mayor and Alderman to allow the Stonebridge Academy property to remain residentially zoned as it currently is, which will allow it to remain compatible with the character of the area. Additionally, as of 2:30 this afternoon, I checked with the Eck Valley Times poll. They're doing a poll on this. In favor were 27 votes, 35.5%. Opposed to the rezoning, 49, 64.5%. Respectfully submitted, Mayor. With your permission, I would like to deliver to Pam a copy of the letter that was sent to those 68 residents, along with copies of the petition, and along with copies of the police reports and the signed signatures.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I additionally have copies of the letters as it was sent out and the petition for the board members as well.
Anybody else like to speak?
Thank you, sir.
Come on up.
Good afternoon, everybody. I learned about the rezoning yesterday when I opened the newspaper.
Okay, real quick. Now, we all know you, but state your name for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Fletcher Smith II, and I pastor a church in the zone over here, okay? And my concerns are about the zone as a whole, okay? So when I put this together, everybody that knows me knows I can get very intense about subjects, so my wife has spent much time encouraging me to stay calm, okay? Because I've been here 10 years, and I haven't seen anything substantial being done in that zone in 10 years. And so my objections come in the form of questions. First question is, I'd like to ask the mayor, how is putting a rehabilitation center in that zone, in the neighborhood, in a drug-infested area to the right of it, if we're looking this way, or to the north of it, community to the south of it, how does that play into your major strategic plans for the city?
So you came in a few minutes late. We explained. We're listening to public.
Well, that's fine.
You can submit your questions.
I'm going to ask questions because I want everybody to ask hear my questions, because questions don't do nothing but encourage thinking and questioning. The next question I have is that every time I have a chance to talk to Alderman Bryant, we always come up with the phrase ROIC. Okay? And I honestly believe that there's got to be a return on everything you do in this city, of which I have never seen, and nobody can ever answer a question for me. So my question is, what is the return, ROIC, to the community, economically or socially? How does putting a drug rehab center in that location going to enhance the community socially or economically? And I know that the young man that just spoke mentioned the crime rate, and that was another question I had. What was the crime rate? Because see, I didn't have the opportunity because I had to work for a living. So today I didn't have the opportunity to really put my numbers together like I like putting numbers together. But I appreciate everything that you brought, very organized, and the numbers very structured. What was the crime rate associated with the current location of this facility? Has anybody done any investigations about their Costa Mesa location or their locations in California and how they affected the communities there? Or are we just taking somebody else's word for it? Has anybody contacted the police departments in the other locations that they have in the nation? Because if I'm correct, they're out of California, am I correct? Okay. So how does the crime rate of the current location, how does that transfer over to the new location? And the young man right behind me had some numbers that he was guessing at, and I'm guessing that his numbers were low. And right now, at night, the police presence in this city, bottom line, sucks, gentlemen and ladies. Okay? The budget in every department in this city has grown over the last 10 years proportionally to the income, except for the police department. Okay? So how are you going to protect us when you can't protect us now? My next point was, you're putting this drug rehab center in the neighborhood that is the easiest neighborhood in the town to get a hookup. I pastor a church and they used my parking lot to come in town when I first got there to pick up drugs, and then the kids would walk back over to their cars in my parking lot, and there's police reports on file about it. So that whole zone is where everybody comes from out of town to get drugs, and you're putting a rehab center right there. Makes no sense to me. And the next thing I have is this. The communication of everything in this city. Let me talk to y'all now. The communication of everything in this city sucks. We don't hear anything until the last minute in this city. Everybody knows that everybody does not get that paper. Then you send out 68 letters. You putting that rehab center there is going to affect me down on Morgan Street. I didn't get a letter. How many pastors in the area were notified? How many churches were notified? We didn't get notified until we read it in the paper. And I just got lucky yesterday because I just happened to have got back from vacation and got my very first copy delivered to my house of the Elk Valley Times. And I'm just going to make this statement. It's time that I feel that the people on this board start working for the people in the audience. I don't get it. The inconsistency of the management and the functionality of the city is crazy. I'd really like to sit with you later so you could tell me what is your strategic plan, your annual strategic plan, which is required by the city charter. Where can I get a copy of it so I can see where we're going? Is that not in the charter? You want me to show it to you? I think it's on page 14 or 15. I want to end with saying, I hope that everybody makes a judgment with truth, honesty, integrity, and the true well-being of Fayetteville City when you make this vote. And I pray that all y'all have a blessed day.
Anybody else wish to speak? Anybody else wish to speak? Go ahead.
So my name is Janice Maliatis. I bought a home at 2501 Huntsville Highway, October 2019. I'm originally from New York.
Can you pull the mic towards you?
I'm originally from New York, but I live on Huntsville Highway. I bought a house there. I go back and forth. In 2019, I bought the house pre-pandemic. I have deep roots here. I have spent summers on Stonebridge Drive. My aunt lives on Stonebridge Drive. I bought this house because I want that country, safe living that I'm not getting in New York. The memories of how wonderful my childhood was coming here and spending the whole summer, and we'd drive back north, and I'd say, Mommy, Daddy, I could tell we're almost home. Everybody's getting meaner. Everybody's getting meaner. Virginia, Maryland, nasty. And, you know, being in New York, you got the gangs, the Bloods, the Crips, MS-13s. They're all on drugs. That's what it's all about. And when they leave these facilities and you let them go, they're not going out to work. They're going out to get some more drugs, to sell drugs. And you're gonna destroy Fayetteville, Tennessee. That's exactly what you're gonna do. And I heard about this last Friday night, word of mouth, because I have family here. I was supposed to be on my way on a vacation the very next day, so it means that much to me. I changed my vacation, or I got a ticket voucher to do anything, you know, between March 31st now, that I've been waiting since COVID hit. People, what the hell, just cancel one more time, because this is pretty important. I want to rest. I don't want to have to be home at 5, 6 o'clock with my doors locked and my alarm on anymore. Okay? I want to come down here and I want to rest. You just raised my taxes. What was that for? Is this what you're using it for? I'm fixing up my house. I'm making it nice. I have money invested here. We're good, hardworking people. I don't want to have to worry about my mother, my aunts. I mean, this is crazy. I'm not going to go visit her after 5, 6 o'clock because it's getting dark and you got crazy people running around on drugs. So I bought a house to come here and live, to get away from New York, because I love the way the people are here and how they are in the town, the community. I grew up on Stonebridge Drive. I played in that schoolyard with the Linvilles, Penny and Lee. You might know them. It's just insanity to find out you're doing this. And why? Why do you want to be like New York? Why? It makes no sense. And it's really upsetting to me. Are you going to really do this? Do you have any answers? Is this just like thinking about it? Are you going to do this? Do you want to be New York? Is that what you want? Is everybody in the government corrupt? So what's the next move? And how am I going to find out? You take my money and you're going to build something like this. It's ridiculous. I'm living scared in Long Island because of Facebook. And you got these people chasing after me because I made a post that Trump won. Well, he did. I mean, we all know it. You know it. I know it. I mean, he knows it. Even Biden knows it. But you know what? Why are you going to destroy every Republican state? That's where the good people are running to the red states to get away from the blue people. Do you want to be the bad guys or do you want to be the good guys? That's what it's really down to. What kind of state are you going to be? This country's never been more divided, and I want to be in the great state of Tennessee, and I want my town to be safe. I want to relax. I don't want to be running scared, watching my back, fumbling my keys as I'm opening my front door anymore. Because that's what I'm doing. You could pull up past video on the phone camera we got there. My husband's like, I run up the stairs, we rent an apartment there. You know what I pay for an apartment in New York? $2,800 every month. That's what's going to happen here. You're going to bring all the bad guys. Everyone's going to start dealing drugs. Nobody's going to want to work because they're going to deal drugs. People are going to go on drugs. Everybody's going to be committing crimes. And everyone's going to be fumbling their keys, watching their back as they go in their front door, if it's after dark. My daughter's 23. I make her call me when she gets to work. She has to call me when she leaves work. She has to call me when she is stopping to go to the tanning salon to get her nails done. I have to know where she is every minute. Because if I don't hear from her in a certain time range, I'm like going crazy. So the camera, I'm fumbling. My husband, what the heck's the matter with you? Like, you were so paranoid. Honestly, I think a life in New York is giving me major PTSD. People are horrible. So my whole desire to be around all you wonderful people, you're going to tear it apart. And I've noticed since 2019, just coming back and forth, there are a lot of homeless people hanging out by that liquor store. And I went in there and these people are on the side, growling at me, giving me dirty looks. I guess she was dressed nice or something, but they were definitely homeless. And the lady that works there told me that she don't work nights anymore. So there's definitely been a decline already, and you guys aren't doing anything about it. You need more police. You need people watching on the streets. You don't need, and they say there are people that live over there. I mean, there's homes, there's families, and they bought my grandmother's house, this nice couple over here, 207 Stonebridge Drive. I mean, I'm worried about my aunt, I'm worried about myself now, and is there any safe place to run and hide? Because I really thought it was this great town. I loved my childhood, I loved coming here. Please, don't wreck it. Because that's what you're going to do. I'm begging you. See, look in these pretty blue eyes, and can you promise me you won't?
We thank you for your comments.
I mean, and how am I going to find out what's going on next? Call my Aunt Janice, I guess? I mean, my father says, Mr. Blenderman, I don't know if you know him, it doesn't matter, they're going to try to do whatever they want to do anyway. And that's what I'm scared of. Are you really, do you get to do that? Do you get to do whatever you want anyway? And raise my taxes? So I want to retire here, and now I don't know what to do. So you're leaving me just up in arms. I don't know where to go. I put my life savings in this house, and you're going to destroy the neighborhood? It's not fair. Don't be like the bad guys. You could do more for the community if you put something there to create jobs. You don't got to put drug addicts there. It's not fair. They leave, they get drugs. They're not leaving to work and do anything. 9 times out of 10, if someone tells you I'm not doing drugs no more, they're not doing them any less either. They don't stop. 9 times out of 10. Put them in a big city like Nashville. I don't even think on Long Island they have those in and out things. They're only in like Manhattan. They have the ones where they lock you in, you can't get out, but I mean, it's a nice schoolyard. I played in it. I rode my skateboard up and down Stonebridge Drive. It's just not fair. It's not fair. And if you do this, I guess before it's done, I'm gonna have to sell my house and get the hell out of here. And I'm sure you'll find that out of a lot of other people. And you could just keep your drug addicts. Okay?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you want to finish this?
I appreciate the board giving us all some time to speak our opinions and whatnot on this. My name is Matthew Thurman. I am a small business owner on 2005 Wilson Parkway. I'm a general dentist. We are within sight of the previous Stonebridge Academy and definitely within walking distance. I have a pretty strong opposition for this rezoning for the reasons you've heard prior. Most of these things have been brought on the residential side of things. I'm looking at more of the business and the commercial side of things. Not necessarily hurting my business, but when I house no opiates and or drugs in my office, but the first time somebody gets out, roams around our towns, sees a dentist, what's going to happen? Potentially. It might not, but my concerns are for the safety of my business. Prior to that, I decided to come to this town roughly 6 years ago. And it's been my home. I'm raising two daughters, and this is just not something that I would have seen as a good thing. If I'd have chose to move my business here, which I did. I moved my business here. The thing I'd like you to consider is how many other individuals like myself are going to say, or because of something like this, are going to say, I'm going to move on to the next smaller town. We're in a position where we're needing things as a whole. Like we're needing young practitioners to come in and fill the places of old ones, and I just fear that this might deter others from seeing Fayetteville for what it was and is, and everything. I'd just like you to take my considerations there. We've really got to capitalize on this movement out of big city, out of big things, and I don't think this adds to that. I think it takes away. So I appreciate you taking our considerations.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Please come forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Dana Chrisman and I work for Resurgence Behavioral Health. And, this has been really hard to sit back and listen to. 70,000 people died last year of an opioid overdose. That's more than the Vietnam War in all the years. I am the face of a recovering addict. I give back to the community. I pay my taxes. I don't steal. I'm a good woman. And I'm very passionate about treatment. I'm very passionate about recovery. I'm very passionate about touching people's lives. And I know that at least 50% of the people in this room know somebody in their family that suffers from addiction. Let's stop alienating these people and help them. We don't just cast people to the streets. We set up discharge plans for them. We allow them to go to have a continuum of care. We believe in long-term treatment, but we also believe in second chances. And I'm a product of a second chance. I lost both my parents to an overdose, and I tell you, I've been fighting this disease my whole life. I have two children that are not addicts because I'm carrying the message today of recovery. And I do believe that people deserve the chance to heal. They deserve the chance to be stand-up citizens and finally give back to the communities that they've taken from. Because most drug addicts take from the communities and they ruin their families. They lose their children and they're a burden on society. But there are the ones that actually recover, that start to give back. At Resurgence, we foster a sense of community. We love to foster a sense of safety. We're going to bring more jobs into Fayetteville. I mean, I've been driving around the town. There's so many businesses that are shut down. Since we started at 201 William D. Jones Drive, we've added jobs to the community. We've added professional jobs to LVNs, to nurses, to therapists. And I really believe that the impact would be positive. And I'd like for you to just give people a second chance and believe in people, because we're not all bad people. We're just people that need some help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? Come forward, please.
Appreciate getting it to come tonight. Everything I've heard, my name is Clint Crawford. I'm the new executive director at Resurgent Behavioral Health. Everything I've heard is all valid. Every bit of it, every concern you have, all valid. I didn't hear anything that I wouldn't feel if I were in your community as well. I understand the questions, the concerns that people have. I do. One of the things I heard, I think you had mentioned about was, we're going to let our state, become this thing, right? And what I would say to that, not trying to single you out, it was just, I've heard that conversation.
You're not trying to, but you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard that conversation before, and what I would say to everyone is we're already that state. The last 3 years running, Tennessee has run above the national average in overdose deaths in the United States. You're talking about facts. I'm a numbers guy myself. I'd invite everybody you can go to tennessee.gov, look at the state of Tennessee overdose awareness report. One just came out for 2021. It'll break down everything you want to know there, including deaths by county, things like that. Now, you have to remember that with 2021, it's going to be reporting on the 2019 numbers, so they're always running a year behind. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at it. But I've always been a real facts-driven person, like you're talking about it. I would submit that to everybody. We're already there. Now, I'm a Mississippi boy, but most of my career has been in Tennessee. I grew up right on the Tennessee line. Recently moved here from Knoxville. I was working with a company there called Journey Pure. In Knoxville alone right now, for the last 3.5 months running, they're averaging 1 overdose death a day. A day. It's already here. So we're not, I think the concept that, well, if we'll hold what we got and we don't address these kind of issues that maybe we won't get drawn into that. We're already there. We're already there. We're close enough to Nashville. We're already seeing a lot of fentanyl, a lot of heroin, and a lot of meth. One of the things too I would also like to offer is every person that you see who's homeless or on the street does not mean they're a drug addict or an alcoholic. Most of the studies that you look at, there's a high level of mental health issues there. And one of the struggles that you have when you talk to people who are homeless about trying to help them is they don't want to do that. They want to stay on the street. And a lot of it has to do with the mental illness that goes on. That's a real common thing to see. So it's not always automatically a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction. Now, a lot of times mental health, drug addiction, alcoholism go hand in hand. A lot of times they do. Our goal is to help people with a deadly disease. One of the problems that we have in society today is a fundamental lack of understanding about what addiction is. All right? A lot of times it gets reduced to moral failures. Being spiritually bankrupt and morally debased. You hear that a lot. My grandfather was a die-hard Southern Baptist preacher, and he believed wholeheartedly that it was a moral failure. And I can tell you that is not the case. Not the case. Now, will people who are in active addiction do some bad things? Yes, they will. Because they're driven by something that controls them. That's where people like me come in to try to help them with that. We don't admit well people at Resurgence. Our job is to help people get their life back. That's what we do. That's our goal. Miss Dana that works with us mentioned the death rate, you know, and that's a very true statement. The Vietnam War lasted 10 years from beginning to end. In that 10 years, 56,000 soldiers died. In the United States in 2019, 76,000 people in 1 year died of overdose. There was a study that came out about 4 or 5 years ago that said for every one person in society, their circle of people, meaning people that they're really close to, maybe parents, children, grandchildren, those things, averages about eight people. All right? So, let's think about that. In 2019 in Tennessee, I believe it was a little over 2,000 people overdosed and died. The year before that, I think it was 1,989 people overdosed and died. Now, here's what's interesting about that. In the state of Tennessee right now, and again, you can look this up on the Overdose Awareness Report. So I don't want you to think I'm throwing any just facts out there. You can read every bit of it. For every one person that overdosed and died in the state of Tennessee in 2019, there were 13 non-fatal overdoses. That's a lot of people. A lot of people. So again, we're already there. We're already there. We have a major, major problem in the state of Tennessee. Now, if you take those numbers, and we could all agree that perhaps that's a good number, that 8 people in our circle, most of us generally have 8 people. How many people got affected by addiction in Tennessee? In 2019, 76,000 people overdosed and died. If you look at the CDC, one of the things they fear the most is, because we saw it happen in 2017. In 2017, 72,000 people overdosed and died. By the time they got all of the actual reports in finalized, because there's a lot of underreported overdose deaths, it was closer to 100,000 people. We haven't got those numbers in 2019 yet. But if 76,000 people overdosed and died, and in each of those people's circle there was an average of 8 people, and you do the math on that, you're talking about over 500,000 people in the United States have been affected by addiction. There's only 300 million people in the whole country. Over 500,000 people, all right? And the state of Tennessee runs higher than the national average in overdose deaths and has for the last 3 years. It's already here.
Where's Fayetteville ranking?
Huh?
Where's Fayetteville ranking?
Fayetteville ranking? I think Fayetteville, they had 6 overdose deaths last year, I think, or 2019.
We're getting interactive.
Excuse me, sir.
If it's 1%, why would you import that? Why would you import that into your neighborhood?
Order, sir. Excuse me, sir. This is really for you to speak to us. So,
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is not back and forth. So if you want to wrap your statement up or whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
we've given you plenty of time
Sure.
to plead your case. So.
Sure. All right. I appreciate you letting me come talk to
Thank
you. All right. You too. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I would like to say something.
Please come forward.
I'm not a public speaker, but my name is Barbara Metcalf, and I live at 207 Sunset Drive, and we've been living there for 35 years. My mom and dad has been living there for about 40, and we are concerned with everything that Mr. Ray laid out. He laid it all out from the beginning of the danger that it brings to our neighborhood. And we just want to say that we do not agree with this in any way. My parents getting out, walking in their front yard, they live right across the street from it. We live 3 houses down. And we just think that it brings things to our neighborhood that we do not want for our children, our grandchildren to get out and play in the yard, to ride their bike down the road. We're all for people getting help that they need, but not right beside in our neighborhood. Just think if it was y'all and if it was right beside you that they were thinking about moving this in. It'll be different if you look at it personally like that. That's the way we're looking at it tonight. And thank y'all.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Mr. Patrick?
Appreciate y'all letting us come tonight. My name is Walt Patrick. I actually live south of town, so I'm not in the city, and I want to say up front that I'm a real estate agent, and I've been helping resurgents come and make contacts and, move and look for this type of facility. So I thought moved to come talk to you guys as a personal contact with them, being local, and I told them, and I've told everybody that I've talked to, I'm gonna be here before they came, during, and hopefully, God willing, many years after. So I want to speak on their behalf, but by also playing the middle. So a couple points that I wanted to make myself. I felt lucky that I had the opportunity to meet them, and everybody that with Resurgence that I've spoken with has been extremely professional, very optimistic, and just really looking in a positive way about the things they could do by investing in the community. And I realize I don't live in that neighborhood, and I've spoken with some of you all and said myself, I don't know that I want in my neighborhood, but as a whole, maybe there may be some lumps and bumps, but I think in a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year situation, it would be a positive addition to the community for their investment.
Excuse me. This is for the speaker to speak.
We all know there's a present problem in the nation, and how does it fix itself? It doesn't. I mean, it needs facilities like this. It needs groups that will come in and invest in the community, and long term. I mean, I understand there are, what this may bring, but also can appreciate what it also could fix. I mean, the precedents that may be set for the future of Fayetteville. I mean, the things that can turn, it's got to start somewhere. It certainly hadn't started in a lot of other places, and I understand the negative situation. Mr. Fletcher, brought, how does this fix this community? And it may not in 6 months, but in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, how could there not be a positive impact? Other points are made by what positive would it bring? I mean, you're talking 60, 80 jobs. There's not a lot of places, businesses that are adding that many jobs in this town. I mean, those are maybe in relative terms, that's not a positive for everybody, but I think it's a positive for the city. I just wanted I wouldn't feel right if I didn't say out loud that everybody I spoke with, all the things, even to the point, like they tried to work out things with the city to allow them to use fields for soccer fields, and they were very disappointed when they didn't get that done. Even the people that do some of the cooking, the chefs, and some of their local faculty just have a volunteer's heart. I mean, all the ones you talk to are like, oh, I would like to work with the Hands of Mercy. No, I like, other things. It just, to me, everyone I've talked to has been positive and wanting to do things better and wanting to make the community, moved here to be better. And I just think there were a lot of things about Resurgence that weren't told publicly and that people don't know. So I didn't want them to be misrepresented in that way and for it to be said. I mean, people bringing the stats about all the police calls to the William D. Jones facility. I wanted it said out loud also that several of those were local people that were causing damage to their facilities. It wasn't their people, it wasn't their faculty. So I thought that was a misrepresentation of some of the numbers. So I just wanted some of those things that I knew that just to be said out loud, and I can appreciate the families that from that neighborhood. But also long term, I think there's the return on investment could be positive. I appreciate y'all for my time, and good luck.
Thank you. Anybody else?
My name's Brian Maxwell. We moved to Fayetteville about 12 years ago. Bought a house on Stonebridge Drive. So my question is, well, not really a question, but he said in 10 to 15 years it may be beneficial. But to who? It's not going to be beneficial to my property. The guy who's a real estate agent can't say it's not going to make my property go down. There's no way. There's nobody going to move his hand and say, well, I like to buy 207 Stonebridge Drive. Thank God it's got a drug rehab right up the road. You know, there's no good that can come from this. He keeps talking about the nation's problems and everybody has problems. Okay, if this was a local thing and this was going to treat local people, that'd be one thing. It still would be bad. But if it was going to help out the community, that's one thing. But most of the people is going to be coming in here. They're going to be imported in from somewhere else. I work in Huntsville at the hospital. I see all this stuff all the time. So what I'm saying is, the way Huntsville's growing, you should be to get them people up here. The working class people that's going to pay taxes, not put in some kind of a drug rehab where the people there, it will be a blight on the community. I mean, I hate to say that, but I've never been in one of these meetings before in my life. I've never had to, because I've never had a problem with anything. But when it starts coming to be with me and mine, I have to start speaking up. I got my tax assessment letter where my property went up the same day I got this resurgence letter. Now, so if it goes in and y'all do rezone it next year, I want my house reappraised and see if it don't go down. I mean, everybody in here, most people are from our community, from the street. I don't know most of them because I don't get out. I stay in my own backyard. I stay where I'm at. But there's no good that can come of this. And then I started doing a little research on this, and I was like, who bought the Stonebridge? Did we not own it anymore? Does the county not own it anymore? So I pulled it up on the tax thing. Sold in December 2020. 9 acres and a whole school for $56,000. How is that even possible? I mean, how is that possible? 9 acres in town, a building with a big gym that could be a youth center, that could be anything other than a drug rehab center. So all I'm saying is, the Huntsville is going to be the largest, most populated city in Alabama. They're already migrating this way because the housing prices down there. I've had people I work with, nurses I work with, put their house on the market on a Thursday, and by Friday it has 6 offers on it, and all of them are over asking price. So all these people that's working at the hospitals and stuff, professional people, are going to move to where they can afford to live. You get $1,000 for an apartment down there. You know, there's no way. So they're moving up this way anyhow. That's the kind of people you want to bring into here. You know, out of the 20 people that's at your facility right now, how many of them is local? I mean, I mean, I'm just saying, you don't bring stuff in that you don't have to. If this was something we had to do, you know, our drug problem was so bad here in Lincoln County that we had to bring a center in. Okay, then that's one thing. We have to do it for the good of the community. But, you know, 1% of the population had one drug overdose or whatever he says, 6 or whatever. You know, we walk around here. I walk around all the time. I have a big old boxer dog I walk around. You don't see what they're talking about. I mean, I'm sure drugs and all is bad, but, you know, it's just not here. He keeps saying it's here, it's here. It's not here. It may be in Tennessee, but it's not in Lincoln County. So there's no sense bringing something to Lincoln County that we don't already have. And I'm sure there's something better for that building that could be done. I mean, I'm sure there's something else that could be done in that building. But I appreciate y'all letting me talk.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? If there's nobody else, we'll close this public hearing. The next public hearing is the FY 2022 Budget Ordinance 2021-06. That also includes the Fayetteville City School System budget. We passed that in totality. So does anybody want to speak for or against the current budget amendment for 2022? If there's no speakers, we'll close that. Due to the length of that, we haven't started our official meeting yet, so we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we will start our official meeting at 5:56. We'll call to order the June 8th regular meeting of the Board of City of Fayetteville Mayor and Alderman. I'm asked Alderman Bryant, Vice Mayor, to say the opening prayer. We'll stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance and the prayer, and then we'll get into our agenda.
Let's pray.
Please.
Lord, we thank you for this day to come back and do the city's business. God, we just pray that you'll be with us, each one of us that's here tonight, as we look to you, Lord, for guidance and the things that we do for the city. God, we just thank you for the community we live in. We thank you for the people that's here tonight to take part in the process, God. Just pray, Lord, that you'll be with each one that's here. Pray, God, you'll be with each one that might have the issues or problems that need to be dealt with. God, just pray that you bless them, deal with those issues. Lord, we just pray as we can move forward in this meeting and what we do to be in your will. God, we just thank you for the fact that we live in as good a city as we live in. We thank you for the fact that we live in as good a county as we live in. Thank you, Lord, for all of our employees that takes care of us as a city. Every department we have, God, we just thank you for the employees that work so hard to make it work. We thank you, God, for the people that lives here. We thank you, God, for having a good place to live. We thank you, God, for the blessings that you bestow on us this day. A lot of times, God, we don't even have any idea of the blessings that you give us. Lord, we just pray you continue with us through this meeting. And in your name I pray, in Jesus' name.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Next, we have the adoption of our agenda. Anybody have any additions, deletions? Not, this agenda will stand. Under minutes, it came to my attention that on the regular minutes that were approved in April, at the end of the April meeting, I had made a mention of some language that FPU needed in the minutes for a SRF grant that they had applied for. That language did not get put in the minutes, so we need to vote and amend the minutes of April 2021.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we amend the minutes of April 13th, 2021 to reflect your decision on this matter.
Second.
Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen? Aye. Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman? Aye. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
That item passed. Next is the regular meeting minutes of May 11th, 2021. Does anybody have any additions, deletions, corrections? If not, those will enter into record. Next, we have oath of office. I have two for the police department. I need Miss Emily Bradford and Mr. Brandon Shirley to come forward down here. Turn and face the camera. Here's your copy. Here's your copy. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your names. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution and laws of this state to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been appointed. And I will do the best of my ability discharge the duties thereof, and preserve, protect, and defend the constitutions of the state of Tennessee and the United States of America. I further swear or affirm that I will enforce the ordinances of the city of Fayetteville and the laws of the state of Tennessee, protect the life and property of its citizens. That I will diligently seek to detect crime and to apprehend perpetrators of crime. That I will be ever mindful of the trust that has been placed in me by the citizens of the city of Fayetteville, and will make every effort to live up to that trust. Congratulations. Thank you. Next, we have our reports. We have Dr. Bill Hopkins with the Fayetteville City School System.
Good afternoon. Of course, normally I have students come here and give this presentation for me. We don't have any school, so it's hard to get students to come and do this. So it looks like you're stuck with me this time, so I will make it really short. One thing we're excited about is that we're going to start school next year traditionally. There's not going to be a virtual component, so I know that excites a lot of people, that we're going to start as if we've done 2 years ago, so we're really excited about that. Also, I want to kind of give you numbers. Our high school is going to be close to 400 this year, which will be the largest Fayetteville High School has been in its history. So we're going to have our largest group at Fayetteville High School in the history of the school system. We do have learning camps going on at 2 of our schools, Ralph Askins and Fayetteville Middle School. The state has required that due to learning loss because of COVID, and we're proud to say that at Ralph Askins we have 110 students out of 491. We have at Fayetteville Middle School we have 70 out of 441. So those are large numbers for our learning camps. Everything's going very well. We are required to have 2 hours of ELA, 2 hours of math, 1 hour of physical activity, 1 hour of intervention, and 1 hour of STREAM activities, which is art, engineering, mathematics, writing, different things like that. So we're super excited about those type things. We did have our data meetings today at the end of the year, and I want you to know that all 3 schools have seen significant improvement in academics. Our test scores should be much better. We're very excited about that. We're excited about the work that our staff, faculty and staff have put in. Last bit that I'll cover is, we have federal money, the ESSER money, the Emergency Relief Fund money. We used ESSER 2.0. We're going to remodel the back of the present gymnasium, and we're going to be able to get rid of the portables. So we will have career tech classes at the back of our gymnasium, which creates a safer environment. It means our students will not be going outside to do career tech classes. They won't have to go out in the rain. Also, it gets rid of those ugly portables that obviously look very bad, and if you have children, you don't want to be in a portable unless you have to. The last part is we're using our ESSER 3.0. We actually are going to receive $2,723,226. And a lot of people say, well, what can you use that for? It's specifically for certain areas. Obviously, the government has regulations that we have to follow with that. But we're going to be able to change the complete look of Fayetteville City Schools. We're going to put interactive boards in every classroom in all of Fayetteville City Schools, including elementary to high school. We're talking about technology like never before. This is super, super exciting times. Also, we're going to be able to use a new bells and paging system, and we're putting amplified sound in every classroom. So in other words, that type of product has been known to show up to 10% academic increase. So we're talking about huge, huge changes being made there. We're also going to use it to provide Chromebooks for all students and Chromebooks for all teachers. We're going to do that in a 3-year plan. So very, very excited about the things we have coming up. And y'all have any questions?
Yeah. What about the storm shelter? Can you tell us kind of where we're at on the storm shelter?
Yes, we're waiting. No, really, we have submitted and we're waiting on them to get information back to us.
Right.
It is like we They said once we're able to start, putting a shovel in the ground, it'll go quick. Right now, it's just checking every box. We've picked out what we think is, of course, the construction management firm, and we're next is going to be the architect. And so we're waiting on approval for the RFP for the architect. And we've sent it to them. They've just got to send it back to us so we can advertise.
If I remember correctly, the number that shelter can take in during an emergency is over 1,000.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
Maybe 2,000.
It's I can't even remember the exact numbers, but it will be wonderful not only for Fayetteville City, but Lincoln County, all the surrounding areas. Obviously, we're not going to turn anybody away, and it belongs completely to the city. So it'll be great.
Yeah.
Well, I remember it was a minimum of 1,000. You put in the seating, it's 2,000.
Right. Yeah, for seating inside is going to be a minimum 1,300 seated. Obviously, that's going to be huge, but there'll also be area you can on the court and other locker rooms and all that you can put people in.
And we recently had a AAU basketball tournament up here at the city between both gyms, between the middle school gym and the high school. That was like a 2-day, all day. It was one day and a half. Sunday was half a day. There was a lot of people came to that. So that
absolutely, we've met with Ira with Parks and Recreation, and we've been working with him. We look forward to being able to add value to the city as far as tournaments, those type things. Obviously all our stuff's to be used. We like it used. That's what it's there for.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank y'all.
Next, we have the Fayetteville Lincoln County Library.
Hello.
Hello.
Patrons are coming back to the library, and they have steadily been increasing in numbers. We've had 1,506 visitors for the month of May, and our online collection is increasing as well. We are helping patrons through email, social media, and simple phone calls. Our programs that we are offering online are the Korean Jewels Club and the Summer Reading Program. The Summer Reading Program is virtual, and we are working on getting prizes for the program. The Summer Reading Program started on June 1st and it ends on August 31st. We already have several patrons participating, and it has been advertised on the radio and social media. The Korean Jewels Club is still doing well in attendance for the Facebook watch parties held every week, and the Elk River Book Club remains to be meeting in the building, but keeping it in small numbers. We're still using safety precautions to protect our patrons, guests, and staff. And all the staff are hopeful that we will get a director soon. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll go into our standing committee reports. Chief Howell is out of town for the next few days. Mr. Collins, you give the fire department report?
Yes, sir. Fire calls for the month of May 2021 had 0 fire calls, had 13 medical assisting EMS crew, 5 motor vehicle accidents with injury, 57 EMS calls excluding vehicle accidents. That's the report for the fire department.
Any questions on fire? We'll go ahead to the police department. Mr. Collins?
Yes, sir. Monthly report for May 2021 had 113 incidents, 45 arrests, 72 traffic citations, and 1,736 police activity events.
Any questions on police? We'll move on to finance. Ms. Rozelle?
Good evening. The May 2021 local option sales tax was $294,933.62. This is once again a record-breaking month with the new year-to-date total at $2,550,000. We've now surpassed our annual budgeted amount for FY21, and in fact, with still 2 months left to record, we're only $127,000 away from reaching our total year-end for FY20. General numbers, the total general fund revenues realized as of May 2021, this is excluding the bond funds that we received, are $10,912,516.18, and total general fund expenditures recorded are $10,592,718.07. So right now we're currently standing with an increase to general fund balance of $319,000. And just as a side note of information, I did have some correspondence today with members of the audit team. And so preliminary work is already beginning for the FY 2021 fiscal audit.
Any questions, Ms. Roselle? Thank you. We'll go to Recreation Department, Mr. Ira Thompson. I mean, Eddie, if you want, Eddie wants to give a report, you give a report.
How you guys doing?
Doing well.
So, let's see, we're making sure that we start putting out to everybody that on our new logo, we put some words to go with each one of those little signs that you see in front of you. And we put wellness, happiness, diversity, and fun. Those are the things that our department are going to try to push forward. We're going to try to gear everything towards that. There's a little logo on there. What happened? Baseball and soccer ended. We had some good seasons. We had a few, baseball had low numbers, but hopefully next year we'll pick that up. Soccer was absolutely great. We're going to pick it up next year, hopefully, well, we will, with the new soccer facility up top. We ended with some great last few games. I went out there and watched a lot of the games. I stood afar and watched the baseball games and seen what was going on. I think the young men got rings, correct?
That's correct.
They got rings. And
the rings were a big hit.
They were absolutely, we getting calls now still asking for rings. So that went well. We had girls softball and adult softball start up. We have girls softball on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Men's softball is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Women's softball is on Mondays. Starting off, they started their game yesterday. Last night, shall I say. Last night we had a few sparks that happened. Situation that happened at FPU, and some people had to come out and square away for us with some lights. The ground is too soft out there right now to try to actually get a truck out there to fix things, which has been the case for a while. But we're hoping that we can get those lights taken care of. I got a good email this morning about it, and we're taking care of the issue, all right? So we opened the pool. The pool is open every day, well, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5. The concession stands is as well. We're doing Sunday 1 to 5 concession stands right now. We have sold out. We started off with pizzas. We started this year with pizzas, and I ordered 3 cases, and we were done with pizzas in the first 2 days because they're such a big hit. We're going to do what I said earlier. I said those 4 words for a reason, and I say that because I'm going to give free passes to the first 10 people who can come to me and tell me what those words are to the pool, just so we can get some more people out there. So see if people want to actually watch this right here. All right. So our early bird punch passes are $30. We're going to end that next Wednesday. We have $75 season passes, which are early bird special that we're putting out there for everybody. We have after next Wednesday, they'll go to $40 for punch passes to give you 10 visits, $100 for season passes, and of course $5 for the regular passes. We're putting out there for anyone who wants to have a pool party. Pool parties are during the day right now that we're doing until we can get things squared away because we are very low lifeguards, which is the truth about everyone across the state, which I've called. If you want to make a pool party, I ask everybody to call 931-433-1612 just so we can get some more pool parties on the books. Outside of that, that was the pool passes. Now we have classes. Of course, we have our dance.
Oh, I was just planning the bathing suit I was
If you want to run to somewhere, you want to hide, come to the rec. I got you, all right? I heard you earlier. So, classes at the rec, we have a dance for fit. There are Tuesday and Thursdays, 5 to 6. Saturdays, 10:30 to 11:30. We have yoga that's starting up tomorrow at 6. Come on in there and let's get some yoga going on if you want to. Don Davison, we got the bridge up and going. Everything's down that way. The cross-country team absolutely appreciate that. Today I went down there and looked at it, and we're getting some welding done on it, make it a little bit more sturdy in different areas. The new recreation coordinator, I've been trying to keep it on the low until I actually talked to him for a little while and actually spoke to him and got him, make sure his vibe was the same as our vibe at our department. We had a few great candidates. We were very specific with what we wanted and what our department was going for. And going forth, we picked a young man and who is very deserving of the position, named Ryan Yates. He is a guy from this city, and he is coming on Monday. It will be his first day. We already get everything squared away from him, and I think that he is going to be an absolute great fit for what we have going on, and he's going to take our department to the next level. So I just wanted to put that out there. Everybody's been calling me, asking me about who he was, and we're trying to keep it on the low until we get things squared away, which we are now. What's planned to happen? We have the fish rodeo that's happened this Saturday. We are getting fish delivered tomorrow. We're getting fish delivered again Friday. We have gotten everything squared away after talking to a lot of people about what has happened in the past, finally getting to talk to those people with Walmart and some other people. They put me on a good path of knowing what has happened and how far we're taking it this year compared to where it has been. We're not really focused this year on prizes and stuff like that. We're just trying to get some young people out there to fish, you know, and have a good time with parents and family members. That's what we're trying to go for this year. Next year, hopefully, we can get a little bit bigger. We have some very passionate people that's helping. I heard about it all over Facebook. I am absolutely elated with those people who are trying to help us out and get some things up and going. We have the 4th of July celebration that's going to happen. Mr. Scott Collins can tell you more about that, and when you get a chance. We have a few new and special programs, a few new programs that's going to happen, that's going to be consistent that we're working on, and some special programs that we're trying to put together that I think one of them is going to, I don't want to speak on it, but one of the people that we interviewed for the coordinator position, I'm working with that person to help us with something, and I think it's going to be an event that might have everyone on their toes and wanting to come out. So I am very, very excited about that. The people in my department, my guys, are very excited about it, the possibilities of what we can do. You know, there's so much I want to say, but I'm not going to, being in front of you guys, in front of the group, in front of everyone out here. I just ask everyone to remember that, and I think I said it, Rome was not built in a day. Please give us time. We are making strides. We have made huge strides, and we're still doing that. So hang with us and watch what we do. That's what I got.
Any questions for Mr. Thompson? Thank you, sir.
All right.
Mr. Plunkett, Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. Old Mulberry Avenue and Laurel Drive projects, they're moving along. Projection on Old Mulberry Road is 4 to 6 weeks. They'll be completed with that one. The next item I have is you're gonna have a budget amendment coming up later on in the meeting for garbage carts, shipping and all. It's gonna be $3,975. Be for 50 of those. Mayor, that's me, short and sweet. Any questions, I'll try to answer.
Any questions?
And we have a paving concrete contract coming up. It's for a year, with Kerber's being the winner of that contract to do any emergency work that we have to do. And that's all I've got.
So I guess I'm sorry. Go ahead. And you're still short 3 employees.
3 employees, correct.
So anybody out there wanting to work and able to work?
If you want a job, put in an application.
Yeah, come put in an application.
Okay,
They'll
so now
get
with
your CDLs.
So the 4th's on a Sunday, so is the city holiday on the Monday, Mr. Collins?
Yes, sir, I'll be
So
discussing.
how you doing trash on 4th of July?
We'll double up on Tuesday.
Double up on Tuesday, so everybody have their cards out Monday night.
Put them all out Monday night, Monday and Tuesday, and we'll pick it all up that day.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We go to planning codes, Ms. Gentry.
Thank you, Mayor. 16 permits were issued in May. The total project valuation was $786,915. The total permit fees were $2,800. Approximately 225 property maintenance violations have been logged to date, and that includes 19 summons to municipal court. The May Planning Commission meeting, 2 minor plats were approved. Both plats were located in the urban growth boundary. The Thad Gray property is located on Hilltop Road. He carved off an acre to sell to his daughter. The Mabel Tucker estate is located on Walton Lane off of Lewisburg Highway. This minor plat divided up property to add to existing family properties that surrounded the Tucker house, and the house lot is an independent lot that will be sold off. We had a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting yesterday on June the 7th. 3 items were on the agenda. The first item is 809 Huntsville Highway. A variance was approved to be used for a car detailing business, and the variance dealt with the lot size restrictions. It was too small and setbacks could be met, but they've got approval for their car detailing business. 2 lots on Campbell Street West, parcel 12 and 13. The property owner was seeking a variance to build a small residential home on each parcel, and the board members were concerned about parking because of the narrow street, so they requested to table these properties being allowed their variance until the property owner provides a site plan that includes the layout. Lastly, I want to talk about 2 very special events that the city has coming up this summer. First, the Celebration of Independence will be held June 26th at Don Davidson Park from 4 to 10. It's a free family event. We have 8 or 9 food vendors already committed. We picked up 2 today. We're going to have inflatables, water slides, a human hungry hippo game, dunk tank, and then a few surprises that we're going to announce on our Discover Tennessee Fayetteville Facebook page. So we'll have promotional items and kind of want to keep some things a secret. We are looking for volunteers to help run our game booths and bounce houses. We did put out a Facebook post. You can contact the municipal building at 433-6154 if you're interested in signing up, or if seniors need some Tennessee Promise hours. We'll be happy to take care of that. And of course, we'll end the night with the spectacular fireworks show. Of all the city events that I've worked on, I think this one is shaping up to be one of the most memorable ones. We are also planning our Cruise In Downtown car show. It's scheduled for September the 11th here on the downtown square. The main event is from 4 to 7, and we will open up pre-registration very soon. We will seek food vendors for this event, and we have already designed the new shirts that we'll be releasing soon. We do have a Cruise In Downtown Fayetteville Facebook page that you can follow for more information. And that's my report.
Any questions from Ms. Gentry? I just say that the fireworks show is very popular, so I encourage people to get down there early, because it will fit, the park will fill up, and there at some point there is a limit, and they'll have to. And people will line up along the bypass, and some will even go over to the parking lot at the City High School to watch the show. It's been a great event. We look forward to it.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
We go to the City Administrator's report. Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mayor. One note of emphasis is our July meeting schedule for the various committees. Due to the Independence Day, 4th of July holiday, Police and Fire Committee will meet on Thursday, July 1st at 7 a.m. Parks and Recreation Committee will also meet on Thursday, July 1st, 7:30 a.m. or immediately following the Police and Fire Committee. Public Works Committee will be meeting on Thursday, July 1st at 9 a.m. IT and Planning, Thursday, July 1st at 3 o'clock p.m. And the Finance Committee will meet on normal schedule on July 6th at 4:30 p.m. These will be posted, and the newspapers, radios, and FPU Channel 6 will all be running the change. We have information on your iPads about William D. Jones STBG project, but this afternoon we received an additional update, and with the board's permission, I'll just read briefly from it. This is to Region 3, and it is, as you may recall, this project has been going through NEPA reevaluation process, and it appears that process will conclude soon with a reapproved CE document. In anticipation of receiving the NEPA recertification soon, we are submitting the following for final concurrence. Number 1, the revised bid book, the updated engineer's estimate, and including a proposed contract. You will see in the bid book that we are tentatively targeting a July 20th bid opening for this project. He goes on to say, thanking them for their assistance, but we are very, very close and anticipating a July 20th, 2021 bid opening. The next thing, Mayor, I want to touch on is you all have been provided a handout for the Elected Officials Academy. This year it's being put on virtually by MTAS. Several of you have already been through it. It's a great program, and I just wanted to provide you the information. If anybody's interested, please contact us, and we'll be happy to assist with the registration. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is we are still working on the American Rescue Plan Act. That is $1.8 million of federal money we're getting. It's a very complex program, and we are analyzing what expenditures may be used for. They tell us what we can't spend it on, but it's very limited in pension funds and debt service. I contacted a gentleman from California, a city administrator in California, whose proposal was to buy fire engines, public works vehicles and equipment, police cameras, building modifications. Unfortunately, his response is the same thing we've been hearing. This is a very limited fund that's mainly going to focus on water and sewer infrastructure as well as broadband. Some building upgrades that may help decrease the spread of COVID or other type of issues. But we're doing continuing research, and probably will request of the mayor to hold a special work session just to discuss the possibilities of this funding. Mayor, that is my report, sir.
Any questions of Mr. Collins? We don't have any unfinished business. We'll go right into new business. Item A, fiscal year 2022 budget ordinance 2021-06. We had our budget work sessions in April. We called for our public hearing. We had our public hearing. This is to approve an ordinance of the City of Fayetteville, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022. Have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 2021-06.
Second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Alder. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
No.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
That item passed. Item B, fiscal year 2021 budget amendment, ordinance 2021-05. Ms. Roselle, will you come up for just a second? You were not here at the work session on Thursday. You were in a class. So if you'll just give a quick overview.
I do have a summary that I believe y'all were provided a copy of during the committee, finance committee, and it should be under the finance committee meeting on your iPads. Rather than going through the 2 pages of ins and outs, the majority of it is recording the $5 million for the bond fund and Another big ticket item on there is the $400,000 increase to local option sales tax. For your general fund, we're looking at putting 5.4 million back into fund balance. Majority of that being the recording of those bond funds.
Anybody have any questions?
So if you have questions on those, what, the revenues or the expenditures are, I do have breakdowns of all of that can be provided.
We just need a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve ordinance number 2021-05.
Second. Hart. What is that? Ms. Allen? Alderman Allen. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
I am passed. Next is fiscal year Fayetteville City School System 2021 Budget Amendment Ordinance 2021-07. We discussed this in finance and work session. This is amending their budget for grant money that's come in for the summer school programs, the learning camps.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve ordinance number 2021-07.
Second.
Second, Alderman Small. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
I am passed. Item D, rezoning 1107 Hedgemont R2 to C3, ordinance 2021-08. We had the public hearing. We heard both sides. Appreciate everybody that came and spoke. Every word was heard. Is there a motion on this? Ask again, is there a motion? If there's no motion, this will fail for a lack of a motion, meaning the zoning will stay current to its R2. We'll go to item E, occupancy tax ordinance revision, second reading. This is to increase the occupancies tax. This is not a local tax on the local residents. This is for people that come and stay at the Best Western or Airbnb or the Hampton Inn. We were at 3.5. We're allowed to go to 5. This is the second reading to make this official. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Second.
Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Item passed. Item F, annual agreement for concrete and minor bridge work. This came through Public Works Committee. This also came through Finance. This came through work session. Bid was put out, as Mr. Plunkett mentioned. Kerber's Inc. won the bid, which sets the rates on equipment, hourly rate on equipment, not materials. This is an annual agreement for 1 year.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve.
Go ahead, you can have it. Go ahead.
We'll give the first motion to Mr. Alder, second to Mr. Bryant.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen? Aye. Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
This item passed. Purchase of additional trash carts. This also came through Public Works Committee, running low on having an inventory of enough trash carts for citizens. It was recommended through Finance and work session to purchase 50 additional sanitation carts to supplement inventory. A motion on this, please.
Do we have that price again?
$39.75.
$39.75. I'll make that motion, Mayor, to approve $39.75 for additional trash cart purchases.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
That item passed. Item H, revision of approved firecracker chase permit. This was a permit for the firecracker chase race on 6/20/6/21. Had previously been approved, but in the first permit, it was not noted that they wanted to block off the north side of the square between 6:15 and 10:15 a.m. So we need a motion, a second, to amend to allow the blocking of that.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
And pass item I, policy for naming of city properties, facilities, and amenities. This came out of, I think, is it IT planning? I'm not sure which committee this came out of. Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec. And then also, we had this discussion in work session about having an established policy on how the board will approve the naming of anything on city properties, facilities, or amenities. Yeah, motion, please.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Motion is Alderman Al.
Second.
Second, Alderman Hartman. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
That item passed. Item J, FPU Board Appointment. This is reappointment of Russ Dixon for a 3-year term to the Fayetteville Public Utility Board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, Alderman Hartman. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Item passed. Item K, FPU Board Appointment, Mr. William Hurd, reappointment for 3 years to the FPU Board.
Move to approve.
Alderman Small, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
That item passed. Item L, Fayetteville Lincoln County Industrial Board appointment, Mickey Lawson for a 6-year term.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Last item, item L, Fayetteville Lincoln County Industrial Board appointment, Lucy Williams for a 6-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Alder. Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Item passed. We'll start with our closing comments. Mr. Martinez.
I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. Thank the citizens for coming out and speaking. I'd also like to congratulate the 2 new officers being sworn in tonight, and Mr. Hopkins for his speech, and the department heads. School's still not out, so there is a lot of kids out, so please watch everything, your surroundings, but everybody have a great summer. See you next month.
Mr. Bryant.
I don't have comments.
Okay. Ms. Small.
Just remind everyone that COVID is still around. Be safe. Keep your distance. Those not vaccinated or care not to be vaccinated, please wear a mask.
Ms. Hartman.
Yes, I would just like to thank everyone for coming out for our first Friday this month. We had record numbers in vendors and attendance. It was so much fun. Everybody had a great time. We're looking at changing the July 1st Friday to July the 9th because of the holiday weekend. We'll have it a week late, and I'm sure that the vendor number is going to continue to grow. I mean, our town, we had visitors from out of town, and everybody is so excited about First Friday. So I appreciate everybody and all the departments for coming out and helping us, the police, public works, all the departments that join in and help us, because it takes all of us.
Mr. Alder.
I just want to speak on a couple of things the Chamber has going on. Music in the park, which if you'll stop by the park, they've got the fans out there that have all the dates for the bands coming. June 24th is the next one. Fabulous 50s is going to be playing, and several others after that. I also want to speak on the new community guide. For those of you that haven't picked this up, you can pick it up at a lot of places in town, banks, anyone that has these for the Chamber. Very well put together book that is very good for our city and people coming in to learn a lot about us. So pick one of these up if you get the chance. That's all I got.
Ms. Allen.
I just want to say I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I'd love to see a crowd like this at every meeting. I want to say people were very passionate on both sides of this, and just remind everybody that we can agree to disagree. It may have worked out in your favor, it may not have, but when we walk out these doors, We're the people of Fayetteville, and that's the reason we all love being here. So I hope we're just all friendly to one another and respect the fact that we may not agree on something. All right.
I concur with the comments. Thank everybody that come. Like I said, everybody, your voice was heard either way. That's the civility is the most important thing. Our right to free speech, our right to be passionate, but at the same time we have to work together at the end of the day. Another great First Friday. Please come out in July. It has that feel of, starting to get that feel like host. I mean, there's just a lot of people out. It really benefits the merchants on the square, the restaurants on the square as well. I do want to say one thing in closing, because it was brought up in public hearing about tax rate. The city of Fayetteville has not passed a tax rate increase since 2013. When you receive something from the tax assessor's office on reappraisal, like we all do, the city doesn't have anything to do with that. The county, that's the tax assessor's office, and that's through the state. So I just wanted to make that clear. So thank you for everybody for coming. We'll adjourn this meeting and return in July. Have a good night.
Thank you for clearing that up.